volume of a rectangular prism made of unit cubes. All right, so we've done a few things with volume and rectangular prisms. So volume is just the amount of space that an object takes up in three-dimensional space. So not just two-dimensional, not length and width. Now we're talking about length, width, and height. So a rectangular prism is named so because the bottom and the top are rectangles. And then a prism has to do with basically being a three-dimensional object. So it's kind of a simplification of it, but the rectangular part comes from what is the shape of the bottom and the top. All right. So I turn on my pen here. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to think of area first. So I'm going to go area of a rectangle. So if I think of the rectangle, and I'm going to actually do the top part here. So if I think of how many squares does it have along the top? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know area of a rectangle is length times width. So it has 5 along the top. So I'm going to say this is 5. And then how many does it have going along the side here? 2. So the area of just the top here, so I'm just thinking of the top layer, is 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. So this layer has 10 blocks in it. And then how many layers do I have? I have 3 layers. So each layer has 10 blocks in it. So I can go 10 plus 10 plus 10. Well, that's 30. But repeated addition also means multiplication. I can, instead of going 10 plus 10 plus 10, I could have said 10 times 3, which is how tall it is, would get me 30. So this actually helps us build the volume formula by looking at it this way. So they do the same thing down here where they're showing you the top layer. It's 5 long by 2 wide, so it has 10 cubes in it. And then each one of these layers has 10 cubes. So this is all that they're doing. They're breaking down it the same way that I did. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so let's take a look at the top layer again. So we have 3 long and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. So the area of the top is 3 long by 5 wide, which is 15. And if we were to count these and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's a little hard to count those sideways. My pen wasn't arguing a little bit, but I can count them and I can see I have 15 squares. So that means the top layer, so this layer has 15 cubes in it. And then I have 4 layers. Each one has 15 cubes in it. So I don't have to be able, I can't see all 15 after that first layer. I can see the first 15 in this one because I get to see the top. After that layer, I can only see the side ones, and I can only see the side ones that on the side that's facing me. So that's why we have to keep in mind that once I find one layer, I know how many squares are in each layer below it. So I'm going to add all these together. I get 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So altogether, I have 60 squares. Now again, if I take this and I say 15 times 4, I would get 60. So what this is building us up to is volume equals length times width times height. Because if I go 3 times 5 times 4, in this case, I would get my 60, which is exactly what we got here. So this is just building us up to learning length times width times height. All right, 60. All right, next one. So we only have 2 on this one. Okay, so we're going to go area equals length times width. We have length times width. So area is 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 2 on the front and we have 5 on the side. So my area is 10, meaning that I have 10 cubes in this top layer. And remember, every layer below it also has 10 cubes. So I'm going to add all those together and I end up with 30 cubes total. So again, if we apply the volume formula, I have length times width times height. I get volume equals length is 2, width was 5, height is 3. So then I have V equals, I'd still go 2 times 5 is 10, and then I bring down the times 3. V equals 10 times 3, and I get 30. So do you see, I still get the same number using this other method. And what I want you to do is recognize this volume formula, because we're not always going to be given the squares like this, or it's not always going to be divided up into layers for us. So being able to recognize the volume formula is useful as we move forward. Alrighty, so let's clear that and we finish another one. Yay!